Hey everyone! Karen and Neil, Private Label University. We want to make sure first, before we go ahead, that you guys can hear us because we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff today. So let's give everyone a couple of minutes to join us here, or a couple of seconds to join us here, and then we will get started. So let us know if you can hear us. I'm going to have Neil talk for a bit while I just check the stats here to make sure everyone can hear us.
Give the thumbs up if you can hear us and see us. If there's any static, let us know so we can start right away. We have a lot of questions and an exciting topic today.
So. And actually it's a little dark. We're actually getting some snow for a change actually in Colorado here. Actually it's been beautiful. I've been in Florida with the warm weather, but when I left it was in the 70s here in Colorado. And so the weather here has been totally erratic. No?
Typical Colorado weather.
Yeah, so it's getting a little darker through this this Facebook Live because it looks like it's starting to snow. So if you're in the East Coast, you're probably very familiar with the snow. Yes?
Yes, and you've been pounded with cold weather, and then of course in Northern California they're getting flooded with rain, so we're kind of in the middle, sunny, snowy, rainy here. We get a little bit of both of your bad weather.
Yes, so thank you for that, right? So, okay, so we want to make sure you guys can hear us. It's clear. I have that crazy mic again, and I want to make sure that I bought this amazing mic. It's actually a great mic. It got great reviews on Amazon, and I've been having a little bit of difficulty with it, so hopefully you guys can hear us really well.
And if some of you didn't recognize me, I am sporting a little bit of a new look, kind of the Scotsman look, so it isn't fake, it is real. And unfortunately, it is gray.
Serena loves the new look. Well, thank you. I'd love to hear about that. I'm not sure about it. I'm still kind of getting.
I need my pipe.
I'm still kind of getting used to it. So, what do you think of this new look?
I'm going to start practicing the bagpipes, by the way, as well.
I'm not used to it. Do we have any celebrities that
the kids like it. They say I look like Wolverine.
Oh, is that what he has? I think it is, maybe.
He does.
There you go. So, yeah, no scary stuff going on, though. But, yeah, so I'd love to get some feedback on Neil's new look. I'm not sure about this part here. I don't know. Maybe I'm just so used to seeing you a certain way. And you probably need special products now for that, right? To maintain?
Beard products, yes. I'll look on the beard sites for that.
Well, we're getting a lot of I love it, so I think people are liking it. Does that mean you're not going to shave it off?
I'm not going to shave it off.
Come on, guys, help me out. Help me out here, right? All right, well, well, hi, everyone. Let us know that you're here. We see we have a bunch of people here on. I can't really see who's here, so let us know. Give us thumbs up. Send us some love. Let us know that you're here. If you have any questions along the way, of course, just interrupt us and we'll jump into that as well. So, you see more gray. Okay, really? That's not being very nice. Someone needs to invent a product for that, right? So today is all about private labeling. We've been getting a lot of questions around private labeling in general. So we just want to, I guess, just clarify and what private labeling is and some of the pitfalls to look for and things to private label, things not to private label. So we're going to kind of go through some of the questions that we've been asked a lot and give some clarification. So if anything comes up for you, just let us know. And you can interrupt us and we can talk about that. So today's all about really private labeling from the very beginning type of thing. So let's talk first about what private labeling is.
So for those who are new at this, or for the veterans, of course, private labeling is putting your name on a product. Doesn't matter what name you have, but it's going through the process of course, finding that product and then the name that you've come up with or the brand that you've decided to go with, you're basically going to slap it on that product and put your name on it. So when you think of the greatest names, Coca-Cola, Apple, McDonald's, they all have a name brand. They've private labeled that product.
Sorry to interrupt. So you think about it, computers, there are other companies that have computers. But when you start putting a personal brand or name on it, it becomes then a private label brand. Computers is nothing new, just it becomes now something that is yours to your brand.
Right. IBM, in the old days, so it was IBM. And then, of course, Dell is the popular one, and Apple. So those are the three go-to brands that people recognize, and so they private label them. Michael Dell private labeled the computer Dell products. Steve Jobs, of course, came up with the Apple. But again, those are just branding, and of course, coming with that logo that follows it so everyone recognizes it, much like the McDonald's, the Golden Arches. And if any of you have seen that movie with Michael Keaton about McDonald's, it's fascinating, talking about the branding. Now, of course, for him, it was franchising, but again, that brand of those Golden Arches right across America. So when you think America, you think McDonald's. So again, private labeling and branding sometimes marriage
coexist,
the two.
Yes, coexist. And it can be confusing too. A lot of people get them mixed up as well.
Correct, correct.
So, which takes us to the next question. I'm just going to read over here. What defines a product as a private label product?
Again, logos will define the product. A symbol will define that product, hence logo, and of course the name. People will always know, if you don't know the Apple computer, our kids growing up, they didn't know the name Apple, but they knew that computer had the little apple on it.
Fruit. I think they used to call it the fruit.
Yeah.
The fruit store.
And when you drive by, you don't necessarily have to see where it says Apple Store, but you'll see that black symbol of the apple on a white background, and you know what it is.
Or the lineups.
And a lot of times it's simplicity that actually will stand out. Look at the Golden Arches, the big M. People recognize it. So it doesn't have to be anything that gets too complicated, too confusing, too many names, too long a name, too many colors can sometimes be very distracting. And that's why they always say simplicity. And I remember doing a trade show years ago for college stores and university stores, and Apple happened to be exhibiting right beside me. And this is when they introduced the shuffle. So a number of years ago.
At least a number of years.
And all they had was their Apple symbol and the little shuffle, and that was it. That's all they needed, because people recognized, they'd look through the show, they could see that Apple symbol. So again, making it simple is the best way if you're looking at branding or private labeling a product. Make it very easy to pronounce. Again, the letters, the symbols, making it so someone doesn't have to think about it, how they're going to pronounce it, how they're going to say it.
And it doesn't necessarily even have to have a logo. Your logo could be just the words of the brand, right? It doesn't even have to be like a symbol of some sort.
Right, yeah. And hence, again, McDonald's still has the M in it, but the full name is there.
For the arches,
Yeah, the Golden Arches. But knowing that, I don't think Dell, I'm not sure if they have a symbol or not.
The
but people
D,
just,
I think it's a
but
D.
the D-E-L, it's simple to say, simple to produce, and of course it was his name, so made it even better for himself. Worldwide recognition.
So another question we get often is, do I need to have a license to private label a product?
Great question. So really, when you say license, do you have to actually formally establish a state license or a world license? No. However, licensing as a part of actually registering your company. So you're going to have to register your company maybe with the Secretary of State to show that you have an official company set up, a legitimate company.
But it's not required to do that. It just helps definitely build that credibility that you are that brand owner.
Correct. It's not required in establishing that brand or that private label, because you can private label a product, call it the Apple, but then registered under a different corporate name. It's just a brand that you're going to be using under that corporate entity. So again, you don't have to have a license. It's not required. It makes it easy, so you're not caught up in the whole business aspect of what do I have to do, who do I have to register with. You're just creating a brand. The other part is the business side, which you'll be creating with your accountant, with your attorneys for that.
Because
category.
you want to make sure that if you're going to be private labeling a brand or your brand, you want to be able to protect it, which actually takes us to our next question. What should I look for or look out for when I legally when I private label a product? And again, when you're starting to private label a product, you want to be able to protect your brand. So someone can't come in and just take the product, and if it's not protected, then someone can knock it off or take it. And you want to make sure that you have trademarks for sure, to make sure that your brand, that name is protected. But as far as what should I look out for legally when private labeling a product, trademarks, patents, want to talk
Copyrights.
about that?
Yeah, you want to make sure, of course, you're not literally just copycatting a product. And some people say, well, I'll make an apple in a different color or make it look like an apple, maybe a pear with a bite out of it. You really can't do that. And you'll have attorneys knocking at your door and sending you letters. The best thing is to be original with your product. If it's something in a same category, again, if you're bringing in cables or cords, we see a lot of this connected in electronics. People want to make them white, maybe put a similar symbol or make them packaged to look like an Apple product, even on the label. Stay away from that. You'll be seized. It will not enter the country, and if it does, it'll be rejected by U.S. Customs. Again, all these companies have attorneys at every single port, so for property rights infringements.
And ask your manufacturer, right? Ask them, does this have a patent or is there a patent pending? I mean, we've had a few people, and even ourselves, looking at products and then to find out that they are products that were in the process of being patented, and you want to stay away from those products, which actually takes us into what should we not be looking for when we're, what should we be cautious about when we're private labeling? What are things that we should not be private labeling?
Okay, so
really
again, private labeling name brand products or products that have already been private labeled and established in the corporate world,
like
and
Apple.
Exactly, they have patents, or may even be on that border, that gray area of patent infringements, international property infringements, trademark infringements. You really want to stay away from that. There's so many products out there. There's so many categories that you can stay original in. And again, as Karen mentioned, reaching out to those manufacturers. If they say, well, we make them also for Apple, but don't worry, we can easily ship it to you, red flag. Don't work with that manufacturer, because again, they can export it, but when it arrives in this country, you're going to have security officers and officials knocking on your door, sending you a letter saying, you've done everything you're not supposed to do.
And also doing research, going on to the websites to look
USPTO.
Yeah, right. And to look for patents that are existing already or trademarks that are already being used. I mean, you need to do your research, absolutely.
Right. So many people live in a bubble and they think, I just invented the greatest thing, and it's a small item and it's so effective and I can use it to clean my teeth, and it's made out of wood and it's all natural. Okay, it's called a toothpick. It's already been invented. So again,
which could be still something patentable, you just got to figure out
how to patent it, how to make it different.
Not patentable. Sorry, it could still be something that they could private label.
Right.
You just got to look into it a little bit further to make sure there is nothing unique about that particular one that has already been patentable.
Right.
Or has already been
just
patented.
doing simple homework on a computer is very important.
And so we have a question right here. How can we find out a product has been patented or trademarked?
Again, USPTO, Google Patents is a great simple place to go to. You can run a search for that. Same with trademarks. You can run searches, and it actually breaks down in detail what area, how much you want to define your search. And it's always great to have an attorney. People get afraid when they say, well, I don't want to speak to a lawyer, it's going to cost a lot of money. Well, if you're going to bring in a product and you're bringing in $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, or $10,000 with that product, you want to make sure that it's not going to be seized at the border, or there's not going to be any infringement where you're legally going to be sued.
Or you bring it in and you private label it and you launch it on Amazon only to find out that someone else is selling it on Amazon that actually owns the rights, and then kicks you out and you're stuck with inventory that you paid for and you can't give it back. Right? So sometimes investing a little bit is a wise thing in the end.
Because a lot of times, again, people will bring it in, it passes, maybe the first 1 or 2 shipments get through, and then you, as Karen mentioned, you go through the whole process of launching that business on Amazon, and then Amazon says, hey, we've looked at this stuff, we've inspected it, you can't sell it, we're going to contact the officials for this, and we're not going to ship it back to you, and there's a penalty, and there's a fine. So why get involved?
It ends up costing too much. So do your research, and again, we're here to help you with that too. One of the things that we really focus on, especially in our Import Success Formula program, is, I mean, you have 50 plus modules that walk you through each step of private labeling from scratch to launching on Amazon and getting, you know, your business up and running and successful on Amazon. And so one of the things, you know, we have a whole module just on, you know, all the legal stuff to make sure that you guys are protected, that you, before you even invest in product. So again, really, really important. So what products should you not private label? Explosives.
Explosives are, yeah, any firearms, anything sensitive, drug related. People, you know, get very involved with any of the supplements. You should really be careful with supplements, especially ones that are bizarre for the country. Maybe they're containing bear hearts or bear lungs.
And where they're being made.
Where they're being made, how they're being
ingredients.
processed, the ingredients, right. It's a very sensitive area, and a lot of people say, well, you know, I'm going to bring them in. Maybe I'm going to bring them in from this country because it's, you know, up and coming. You really have to be careful. Deer antlers and a lot of those specialized products that they say are great to have, I would stay away from. But
and
again,
and also customs, right? When you're bringing it in, there's certain products that you can't bring in.
Correct.
So you might be, you know, spending all this time looking at a product, looking at suppliers for this product, organizing it to come in, only to find out it can't even be allowed into the country. And again, something that we really, really focus on in our program to prepare you for that, so that you understand what you can and cannot bring into a country.
There's always a lot of commodities that are coming up under investigation, and U.S. Customs will not allow them, or what they do is they just apply a very, very high tariff to them, so there's a high duty rate to them. And sometimes it's triple than it was the year before. So again, a lot of these raw material simple things like aluminum extruded products, things in the food industry, textiles, a lot of simple products that people don't realize that are always under investigation because if they feel it's hurting the American economy, or if there's already established manufacturers or importers here and it may be affecting their business, they propose these applications to customs, and then what happens is it's under investigation, and then the next year, now the duties, instead of being 10%, could be 170%. And then, of course, if you're not keeping up to date, or your customs broker isn't up to date, you're held responsible. The consignee is ultimately responsible for this. And
I think we're fortunate, too, because you have a lot of inside scoop before it actually happens, so you're well aware of what's about to happen. I mean, same thing with wood products. That was one of the questions that we had in our Facebook group. If you're not already part of our private Facebook group, you want to be. You want to go over to Private Label University for Amazon and eBay sellers. You want to. It's free to join. Join it, because we give you a ton of information there, and you can ask questions. And what we do is we actually answer your questions through video, or we respond really quickly to your response. And one of the questions that we got was with regards to wood. And wood, you know, if you want to briefly, you know, without going into too much detail about it, but, you know, is one of those products that you have to be careful with.
Definitely. And I've worked in the wood industry for a long time, not just with raw materials, but finished products, small furniture, DIY products. And it has to be treated the proper way, and depending where it's being exported as well. So if it's being exported into Canada, Canada has its own regulations, Mexico has their own regulations, the UK has their own regulations. So even though it's being processed and finished in China, a lot of times it has to be sprayed. You have to have certification of where it was sprayed, what they used before it comes in the country, and then before you export it, you have to have also that certification with it. Even simple products from like tongue depressors. You have to fill out different, again, certifications and forms with customs to show what you're exporting. And it's very, very important because, again, it will be seized, it can be rejected.
And again, this is something that we work a lot with our one-on-one clients, because it gets a little bit more specific depending on what your products are. And we work a lot with them and, you know, give them our team in China, here in the US, so that they can get 100% support. And I mean, we have a pretty huge team. So a lot of our private one-on-ones get access to our whole resource, which is great, especially if you're going to be bringing in products that have a little bit more paperwork or more restrictions. You definitely want that support. You don't want to be doing that on your own.
We recently had a client who's looking to get involved with South Korea, and he wanted to know what he has to apply with, because again, there are certain certifications, there's regulations, a little bit different from China, sometimes advantageous to work in other countries, but again, you have to understand. And we've been working in South Korea now for almost 25 years. So different factories, different manufacturers. So again, very well informed of different rules and regulations.
Because China's not the only place. I think it's just the whole Alibaba and people just hearing about Alibaba. But even Alibaba is not the only site. There's tons of other sites that you could be sourcing products from. But again, as we talk about, when we teach in the Import Success Formula program, we give you a bunch of different sites that you could be looking at as well. We teach you how to use Alibaba efficiently. But however, it's not not our most favorite place. We don't personally source from Alibaba. We go directly to the source, to China. Which actually leads into, if I'm sure you guys have been seeing our notices out, today is the last day to sign up for our all-inclusive China trip. This is taking you live with us, so you're getting us 100% in your business, teaching you live in China how to do business in China, and then implementing everything that we teach you in the Canton Fair and around the area in China, so that you are 100% successful in finding products and suppliers when you're there. Today is our last day for the all-inclusive sign-up.
And it really is an elite VIP experience. We make sure that you're gaining so much information. There's so much. And it's not so much that you can't, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. We make sure that it's understood.
I mean, you have us, you have our team, absolutely. And we keep it small so that you guys get us 100%. It's not like there's so many people, that you can't, you don't get us. I don't like going to events where you're watching and you're listening, you're taking notes, and you don't get the people, right? So,
and a lot of times it becomes just kind of like a farm group where everyone just corralled in here, go to this room, kind of listen, you're on your own. We make sure that everyone understands what they're doing. They're learning about China, learning about business in China, how to do business and how to do it successfully.
And it's very different. I mean, it's very different than working on Alibaba. The thing about Alibaba that I don't personally like is, believe it or not, the prices are too high. I know it sounds hard to believe, but it's too high. And secondly, it takes too long. You have to be fast. If you don't act on it fast enough, someone else will. That's basically what it is. So we find going to China, you get it done much, much faster. And I know people are asking how much it is. I will add a link so that you can click on the link and see all the information, what's included, and you can see the options there. So I will add a link so that you can see how much it is. And we're very transparent. I mean, it's about success. We want you to succeed, and that's exactly how we have formatted this program. I mean, what we have done in the past is literally we've worked with Walmart, we worked with Hobby Lobby and Toys R Us and some of the big retailers, and we bring the buyers with us. We've opened this up to you so that we give you all those little secrets that, these big retailers have been doing for years, open to you. And that's what this is really about, is learning how to do it properly and fast, because it is about fast. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be sitting waiting months to make money. I want to make money now.
And again, people will sit on Alibaba and look, people will get absorbed. We've watched them go on Alibaba, and it's like they start at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and they're kind of chatting, and then it's like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, they're still looking. Well, maybe I can get a better price. Maybe I can keep looking. And the next day, and the next day, and all of a sudden a week has passed, 2 weeks have passed, and they're still kind of mulling over, is this the best one? Should I go with this?
And relationships.
We go right to China.
Right, and relationships. It's in every business, right? In everything, in every walk of life, you need to build relationships. And you can't do that with someone on the other side of the computer. It's just totally different. So that's one of the things that we really, really teach, is to how to build these relationships. I mean, we've had relationships in China for years, the same manufacturers that we work with that specialize and know us, know our products, and then build from it. So that's the key. So I will, and I believe it's actually been posted, right? I think it's already been posted. The live event is posted. You can click on that. You can see all the information there, the price, the whole thing. I think the Import Success Formula program is also there. And I think in the link to the Facebook Live is a webinar that we put on that just kind of talks about private labeling in itself. So you can also look at that as well. There's a few links you can look through there. But really, today it's really about private labeling and understanding, because I think there's a lot of things that people are missing. I know a lot of people out there that are doing retail arbitrage, and we understand, we get a lot of people coming to us who want to distribute our products, our private label products, and they'll buy them and then resell them. But the money is in private labeling. So if you're listening and you're not private labeling, or you're just about to start, this is the way to do it. Private labeling is the way. We've years ago have done retail arbitrage, have done wholesale arbitrage, distribution. We've done it all. Private labeling gives you the most profit, and that's what it's about. And especially, you're building your business, you have more flexibility, and that's really what you want. And
it's rewarding. It's great when you actually come up with that private label, you launch your product, and even if it doesn't reach $1 million in the first week, you see that growth and the success, right, where people
and
are
realistically, you're not going to be making $1 million
right,
in the first week.
And I say that only because right, we see so many of these people advertising programs where you can make $1 million in 1 week
with zero money down.
I'm surprised you're not featured on CNN.
Yeah.
So,
but anyone could really do this. I mean, look at my story, right? 18 years ago, I immigrated from Canada, came over here. My background is in dental, didn't have a license to practice here. We needed an income. Neil taught me how to private label products, and I created a successful business private labeling products. We are teaching our kids. Our daughter has an account for her college account. I don't know if you've seen our emails. If you're not on our email list, you'd absolutely want to get on our email list. And she's already have generated enough income to attend college for the next, probably 10 years now.
We hope so.
So, she stays in that long. I mean, it's great. And now our son, 14 years old, has found a product that he's about to private label. So anyone can do this. As long as you have the steps and you understand it and you have that support, why go through the headache? We're giving you 35 plus years of how to do it. That's the way to do it.
And thousands of products. We've actually private labeled thousands of products, not 1 or 2 or 5 or 10, thousands of products in many categories. So, we have that experience looking at all these categories, looking at different countries, how to import them, how to private label them. And again, our son at 14, he listens to us. He watches us. He's even watched our program. He's sat there and said, you know what? I have some great ideas. Here's what I can come up with. Can you help me? And we say, follow the program.
And our teaching's a little different because we teach, based on our retail experience too. Because one of the biggest things that we're seeing is a lot of retailers now are going on to Amazon to look for products that they want in their stores. And if you're not ready for that, then you've missed that opportunity. And that is key. So we really kind of twist, the private labeling for Amazon to make you so prepared that no opportunity passes you by. So that's our take on private labeling. So any questions that you have, please post. And if we don't get to them right here on the call, please post. We will get to them and we will answer your calls. And I appreciate you all for being here. And we would love, if this was value to you, to share it with others as well. Share it in different groups. We would love to, help everyone in any way we can. This is your time to succeed. It is such an easy process, and I just can't believe not everyone is doing this, right? And thank you for the comments on this. I'm not sure if this is 100% we're liking.
It is real.
If you love it, tell me you love it. If you don't, you got my love back, because I'm not 100% committed on it yet. So anyway, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next Thursday. Take care.
Bye-bye.